What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. Big day today. Obviously, free agency, tampering period, legal tampering period, allegedly. Open today. So a lot to talk about, a lot to dig into. We're gonna rip a draft, of course. Hopefully, maybe two we'll see, but obviously at least one. We'll see how long it takes to rip through all of these signings and movers, shakers, all that kind of stuff. So let's kind of just jump right into it. I don't want to waste too much time just talking about nothing. So let's bring up the list. This is Spot Rack's list. So it's just the highest value in order sort of thing. So let's jump into that. We'll glaze over some of the defensive signings, some of the big ones, but offensive linemen, obviously the skill positions, quarterbacks, all that kind of stuff is what we want to focus on. So let's dig into it. So we got Jalen Phillips at the top. Yeah, that's crack prices, if you ask me, for Jalen Phillips. That's just way too much. That's doesn't even make sense. All the money that they should have spent on Milton Williams, they threw it at Jalen Phillips, I guess. So and another thing I want to touch on quickly with these contracts, the only thing that we really need to care about really is the guaranteed money. The total guaranteed money is really what we need to care about, because that's what it's going to cost these teams. Actually, it's not going to cost the Carolina Panthers $120 million. It's going to cost them $80 million, 100%. There's no way out of it, right? That's the guaranteed money. So crack prices for Jalen Phillips, I don't agree with it. Alec Pierce, the second highest, 114, 84 guaranteed, 28.5 AAV, 60 mil at signing. 60 mil is kind of, well, that's actually not necessarily irrelevant if he's guaranteed 60s. Basically, it's a 2-year deal, even though it's a 4-year, is what it kind of looks like to me. But 28.5 AAV, that's ahead of the franchise tag. So this just doesn't make sense. The whole Alec Pierce thing just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, why did you say you wanted to test free agency if the first signing we knew about was a re-signing essentially back to the Colts? Just did not make sense. But regardless, he's back with the Colts. I don't love it. I started picking up some shares thinking he was not going to be on the Colts. And then the same thing with Pittman. I thought Pittman was going to be on the Colts, and here we are. It kind of didn't necessarily work out, but I'm not too worried about it realistically. Like, they're both good players, and I only picked up a few shares. I'm not really concerned. I'm not overweight on either of them realistically. So we know that Alec Pierce is going to be on the Colts, and we know that Michael Pittman is going to be on the Steelers. We may get into that a little bit later, but we know he's on the Steelers. We don't know who's throwing him the ball, but they have two quality wide receivers there with DK Metcalf now and Michael Pittman. Dowdle comes in. We'll touch on him in a second here. So Alec Pierce, do I like it? No, I don't. I think he should fall. We'll see where that goes. I did a draft earlier today, and he wasn't falling. I only did one, so I can't really say too much about that. We'll see when we get in there tonight where he goes. But Owe, that's a good get for the Commanders. 68 guaranteed. Cool. Tyler Linderbaum. This is what I said it in a stream. I just typed it in the chat about Tyler Linderbaum. I thought that he was fully, deserving essentially of the franchise tag. I thought that the Ravens might tag him. The tag is lower than he got, much lower than he got AAV, right? So $81 million guaranteed. Basically, it's fully guaranteed, which is pretty wild. So this $27 million is legit. And the franchise tag, I believe, was $23 million. So I thought that there was a good chance that the Ravens would just tag him and not let him leave. But that's a lot of money. I mean, that's record money by 50%, right, to a center. So again, I think the franchise tag would have made a lot of sense. But anyways, he goes to the Raiders. That's good for Genty. That's good for Mendoza. That's good for basically the entire offensive line and any skill position player. Realistically, he's the best center in the game. So that was an interesting contract, I thought, but and decision by the Ravens to not franchise tag him. You had to know that it would get up there, in the arena, in the area of the franchise tag. But here we are. Let's say what's up to the chat. We got Jeff T in here. What's up, man? Appreciate you popping in. Putt Daddy, the OG of this here channel. Appreciate you, man. After giving up McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and Cook, are my boys going to be like the 2025 Bengals D? They need to smash the upcoming draft. Yeah, it is. It's going to be a tough one because their offense isn't that good. I mean, Kenny Walker, we'll touch on that as well, comes in. Kelsey comes back. We'll see what's going on with that wide receiver position. There's a lot of free agents and not signed free agents. So we'll see what happens with the Chiefs, but I don't know if their offense is going to be like that, like the Bengals offense, but the Chiefs D, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be in a worse spot. Obviously, I don't think I'm breaking any ground on that one. They have done a really good job at developing corners though. So I'll have to take a look at their roster to see who they've drafted and been developing. We can do that if we really want to, but I don't want to get into it tonight. And then, yeah, they definitely need to smash the draft. They have 2 first-round picks now, so they have some firepower to kind of add to that team. And that's how I see them adding is through the draft. And we'll get to that. That's another story for another day kind of thing. But I reached out ADP to draft Alec Pierce. That contract plus Pittman trade signals increased target share. Yeah, potentially. It's still just a concern with Daniel Jones throwing the ball. I believe he tore his Achilles on his plant foot. I believe I'll have to actually go back and look into that. But regardless, I just am not so sure that Alec Pierce is a volume receiver. Like, I know you can just throw volume at him and he becomes a volume receiver. Like, I get how that works, but I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'm not sure I would trust Alec Pierce with 140 to 160 targets, but he is a quality receiver. Do I think he's worth that money? Yeah, I do. With the right quarterback and the right system. I could argue the system's fine. The quarterback situation is what has me concerned. I think he should fall, not a crazy amount. We'll talk about it more when we pull up Underdog and we get into a draft and we see where ADPs are at, and we'll kind of talk about it that way. But I do think he should fall a little bit. I'm not, sweating at the mouth to draft Alec Pierce anymore, whereas I kind of was when I thought he was going to be a free agent. So we'll see where that lands. Like I said, once we jump into Underdog. So Linderbaum, good. I mean, that's good. It makes sense. The money's a little aggressive, but it makes sense. Wan'Dale Robinson follows Dable, heads to the Tennessee Titans. That's a lot of money. Realistically, it's what, like, a 2-year deal, really expensive 2-year deal. We'll call it a 3-year deal, which is still a lot, like $38 million, 78 million. Like, that's irrelevant. It's the 38, and that's quite a bit more palatable than 78. It sounds worse than it is, this contract, as far as, like, I don't think that $78 million is worth paying Wan'Dale Robinson, if I'm being honest. I like Wan'Dale. I think he's a good, solid player, but he's very replaceable. Like, give me Antonio Williams, in the draft in the 4th round instead of $78 million for Wan'Dale Robinson. But again, it's $38 million, AAV of 19.5. So again, you could call it a 2-year deal. I'm not exactly sure what the dead money looks like. Obviously, I'm not too worried about it this season. Does that move him up or down? I mean, we saw DK look good in Chimere DK look good in the slot role to end kind of the season last year. And then you could definitely make the argument that Wan'Dale comes into the slot. Chimere DK doesn't have a job. He's relegated to kick returns. I think Chimere DK will still have a role in offense for sure. He's one of my highest drafted players. I'm not necessarily looking to add more, but I'm fine with the shares that I have of Chimere DK. Same thing with Wan'Dale Robinson. But do I think he moves? I really don't. I think he kind of, if you could make an argument that he falls, but I don't think he does. It's just a weird range of wide receiver. Again, we can talk about it more when we pull up Underdog, but it's just a deceiving contract. I'll say that because there's a lot of chatter on Twitter about the contract and the amount of dollars he got, but it's a bit of a mirage. So I'm not too concerned about that money. Malik Willis goes to Miami instead of Arizona. Obviously that was always on the table, right? $45 million guaranteed. Again, could be a 1-year, 2-year deal top sort of thing, right? 22.5 AAV. But if he's not the guy, he's not making it through 3 years for sure. And realistically, like, they could cut bait probably after one season. I'd have to look again at how it's structured, but 45 million guaranteed is not a crazy amount realistically. So good move though for the Dolphins. Makes a lot of sense for them. Jeff Hafley's obviously in there now. Bobby Slowick's the offensive coordinator. I think it's fine for the guys that I've been drafting. I think it's fine for Achane. I think it's fine for Jalen Waddle, and Waddle may fall with this, though I don't think he should. We'll see how that goes. And then we'll see what they do at tight end. I don't know if we'll even get there, but Greg Dulcich re-signed here. So that could be a guy worth keeping an eye on as far as a literal last round, 20th round tight end, because he looked good in spurts last year. So we'll kind of see how that shakes out as far as tight end for the Dolphins. But if it keeps going, I may throw in a share or two of Greg Dulcich again at in the 20th round. We'll see how that goes. But good pickup for the Dolphins. Makes sense for Willis. He's going to get a chance to start, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Does he rise, fall? No, I think he stays the same is where we'll go with that. John Franklin Myers to the Titans. Good signing. No, don't need to talk about that too much. David Edwards, I thought was quite a bit of money, but zero guaranteed dollars. So again, it's a mirage. It's a bit of a fugazi, right? $61 million, but zero guaranteed. So he's clearly betting on himself. And like realistically, he gets one season of, let's say, $15 million. He's doing well for himself. So he got a raise, but like, they can move on from him at any point. Alontae Taylor comes in. That's pretty good for the defense. They were making some moves, the Titans. Obviously, they had a boatload of money to spend, so they did. Boye Mafe, my guy. I like it. Zero guaranteed money, too. This is a very Bengals-like contract, so that's an interesting one that, again, Mafe just betting on himself. I'm fine with that, obviously. I'm happy to bring in Boye Mafe, replace, I guess, Trey Hendrickson, but we need a guy that actually produces. We have some volume at the position. We just need a guy to produce realistically. So we'll see if Boye Mafe can be that guy. Wandale has always been a target merchant, should lead the team in targets. I'd be more optimistic about Tennessee if they take Love at 4, which now appears likely. I would say it's not likely. I think that the Titans and the Giants are a bit of a, again, I said it with Candyman on the other day. Like, I would believe that what did I say? I think I said Titans more than Giants, right? And that, I guess I could, but 4th overall, I don't know. It's possible. It's possible, but I would be a little bit surprised. We'll see. I mean, bottom line, Jeremiah Love does not make it past 7 and the Commanders. We basically saw that with the Saints and the Chiefs adding at the position. They basically do not expect Love to be there. So I guess it's very possible that he's not there for the Commanders either. We'll see with Love, but we'll see if there's a trade, but I doubt that. So here's Travis Etienne. We kind of touched on that. Again, zero guaranteed money. So interesting contract. Again, betting on himself, 4-year, $52 million, but realistically, it's just kind of not there. But I don't mind the signing. A lot of people are saying that this means that Alvin Kamara is gone or retiring, things like that. I'm not necessarily sure that that's, true or accurate. I think they needed another running back anyways. I think Devin Neal and Audric Estime just weren't really getting the job done the way that they would have liked. I think it's fine having Etienne and Kamara. Am I drafting any more Kamara? No, not really. Travis Etienne, does he move up or down? I kind of like it. It's fine. It's a good landing spot. He should do pretty well. And yeah, I think he stays where he's at. Does he move up? I don't think so. I don't think he would move up, Etienne, but he's still a fine click. And the shares that you have, I think, are fine there as well. Titans' first official top 30 was Jeremiah Love. He was already talking about publicly. Yeah, but that could just be signal and trying to get a team to trade up for him. It's very possible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not over here saying that there's no way Jordan Love or Jeremiah Love goes to the Titans. I think it's very possible. It's very possible he goes to, actually, it's not really anymore with the Tyler Algier signing, but he could realistically go anywhere. If I'm being honest, outside of one, he could go anywhere, honestly. So I'm just betting on him. I'm drafting Jeremiah Love. I'm not trying to play the, where does he go game, if I'm being honest. I'll do that later when I do my mock draft episode. I'll definitely get into that, and we'll see where I think he ends up. But yeah, We'll see. Am I drafting Pollard? And I'm drafting a little more Spears because I think if they do draft Jeremiah Love, Pollard potentially leaves the building. Not Spears, just cheaper, right? But we'll see how that kind of shakes out. Rashid Shaheed heads back to Seattle. Good move for them and him. Again, zero guaranteed money, which is interesting. So lot of like teams are going to be able to move off a lot of these guys. So that's kind of interesting that there's all these contracts being done with zero guaranteed money. It's kind of shocking, to be honest with you. But I mean, it makes sense, and they could still bring in like a Romeo Dobbs would still fit very well into this offense. Someone like that, or Juwan Jennings, one of those types of wide receivers that is still available, or an incoming rookie, or Torrey Horton has that role, whatever. Just because Rashid Shaheed comes back and then they have JSN, there's still going to be a third guy. You know, Shaheed is not out there every snap sort of thing. He's probably more like a 50-60% snap share kind of guy. Plus he's returning punts and kicks. But it's a good move for the Seahawks, I think. I think that was probably the most amount of money. That's what I thought he would sign, is just wherever's offering the most cash. And then they kind of back it up with no guaranteed money to just kind of save themselves a little bit. But he's going to make money in his first year. That's generational wealth for him. Awesome. Well, it's generational wealth for anybody, obviously. And then we'll see what happens year 2 and 3. Jalen Watson to the Rams. The Rams are looking good. We alluded to it with Pot Daddy's comment there. That's a good signing for them. $34 million guaranteed. Pretty good shape there. Zion Johnson goes to the Browns. They brought in a couple offensive linemen to reshape that O-line that just completely dissipated on them. $32 million in guarantees. It basically is a 3-year deal, maybe 2. You could get out of it if you had to, but I think that's actually a good move for them. I don't mind the signing. Kwity Paye replaces Max Crosby, if you could say that. $32 million in guarantees, 48. Yeah, 2 or 3 year deal for sure. Cordell Flott goes to Tennessee with Brian Dable again. 32 million guaranteed. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for him. It's at least a 2-year deal on the 3 years. That makes some sense. Good signing. Kenny Walker, here we go, goes to the Chiefs. 28 million. It's a minimum of a 2-year deal. It's 3 years, obviously. 3-year, 43, 28 guaranteed. So it's basically a 2-year deal, realistically. You're locked in for 2 years, probably for the third, but good deal for everybody all around. And I think he rises from here. We'll see. I thought I had more Kenny Walker, so that's kind of a kick in the nuts. Because I like the landing spot, though they do need to do a little bit of work on that offensive line. But good landing spot for Kenny Walker, good for the Chiefs. If you have shares, you're happy about it. And then we'll see. I think he moves up as far as at least, I think he moves into the second round, like relatively comfortably. But we'll see where that lands. Mike Evans to the 49ers. It's basically a 1-year deal, $16 million. It's a 1-year deal, 3-year, 42, $16 million essentially. Yeah, 1-year deal. I don't know why, because it's only 16 guaranteed and there's nothing at signing. So why even make it a 3-year? But maybe there's some other stuff I don't know in the background there. That's very possible, but it just doesn't even make sense to make it a 3-year deal. But whatever. I mean, I'm still, I think I know that he's going to move up, Mike Evans. I did a draft earlier and he moved up. I don't think I'll be drafting him if he gets more expensive. It's not the fit in, with the Buccaneers. It was never like, I'm not drafting Mike Evans because he's not a good player. It was never, I'm not drafting Mike Evans because he's going to go to a team with a shit quarterback. Those are never the concerns. The concern is always about the health and availability of Mike Evans. So if his price rises, which I know that it will, and I assume that it will, I'm going to have even less Mike Evans personally. Quay Walker goes to the Raiders. They try to rebuild that defense. That's cool. 28 million guaranteed. Brian Cook comes to my Bengals. I love that deal, by the way. Again, very little guaranteed money. So and it's all at signing. So realistically, we can again walk away from him after this season. That's interesting. Isaiah Likely goes to the Giants, zero guaranteed money, but he follows Harbaugh, $40 million 3-year. It's a good deal. I think that signals that Theo Johnson's basically dead, right? So yeah, I mean, two tight end sets, a lot of 12 personnel, then sure, but I wouldn't be drafting Theo Johnson. I have one share that was an auto draft, auto click, so that's unfortunate. And Isaiah Likely, I think, is my highest drafted tight end right now. So we really got to hope, if you're a big, Isaiah Likely bull, you really got to hope that he gets all those snaps and gets the Wan'Dale Robinson kind of targets. Underneath is kind of the hope. If we're Likely, does he rise? I think he did a little bit earlier today, and I think he kind of should, I guess, if you like it, but I don't think he should with where I would have had him ranked. But good signing for the Giants. It's fine for Likely. I don't mind it. Kobe Bryant to the Bears. That's a good deal for them. Jermaine Illuminor goes back to the Giants. That's good for the Giants because that offensive line is still kind of in shambles. So they do still need to put some work into it, and hopefully Andrew Thomas stays healthy. That's the biggest thing with that offensive line, is they need Andrew Thomas on the goddamn field. And if he is, then they're in much, much better shape. But bringing back Illuminor is a great, great thing for Likely, whoever's going to be the running back there, Jackson Dart, the offense as a whole. Draymond Jones, I saw that one, but then I kind of missed it. Then I saw it late. It's whatever. It's not whatever. He's a good player for the Patriots, but 3-year deal there. Tremaine Edmonds goes to the Giants as well. Good deal for them. Replace Okereke. Nakobe Dean allegedly chooses the Raiders over the Cowboys for the same money or similar money, $20 million in guaranteed. That's pretty hefty considering. Good deal for Nakobe Dean. And then he's paired up with Quay Walker as the linebackers for the Raiders this year. Jalen Naylor is an interesting one. That's a lot of money, $23 million guaranteed for a fairly unproven commodity. That basically is a 3-year deal, basically almost $12 million AAV, and 23 guaranteed, like I said. So that's a minimum 2-year deal, right? If not a full 3-year deal for, again, a bit of an unproven commodity. It's interesting. He's definitely worth drafting for sure. I have a couple shares, but do I wish I had more? I don't know. I mean, he'll still be cheap. And then what happens with the guys that are there now? Trey Tucker, Jack Besh, obviously. Do they bring in a rookie? I think that they do bring in one of the 2 Indiana wide receivers. I think one of those 2 end up with the Raiders, if not someone in the draft. I think the Raiders bring in. So I don't know. It's an interesting kind of, it's Brock Bowers is who you want to be drafting, and Genty is who you want to be drafting in the Raiders offense, and then whoever's kind of the cheapest essentially from there. And it might be Jalen Naylor. We'll see where it kind of, where it all kind of unfolds, but that's a lot of money for Naylor, I thought, but makes him draftable. Joseph Asai, again, a lot of money for Joseph Asai to go from my Bengals to the Jets. $22 million, but yeah, good deal for the Jets, I guess. They put a lot of money into that defense. We'll see how that goes. Jalen Thompson, good signing for the Cowboys. He comes in 22 guaranteed, 3-year, $11 million. Cool 2-year deal. Isaac Suamalo goes to the Cardinals. Good for Tyler Algier. Good for whoever their quarterback's going to be. Sounds like Jacoby Brissett. So if you've been drafting Jacoby, good on you. You got a cheap starting quarterback there. Still not, it's better for the pass catchers. It's better than Malik Willis for the pass catchers, but how much more? I don't know. Depends on how good that defense is. Realistically, that defense was awful, and they were kind of run poorly, I felt, last year, but we'll see how it goes for the Cardinals. I'm not going to make up my mind on them right this second. Eric Stokes comes back to the Raiders. That's cool. John Simpson, that's a good signing for the Baltimore Ravens. Again, 0 guaranteed money, but that's good for the offensive line. Tyler Biadasz comes in to replace, what was his name? Can't remember, the center who retired. Tyler Biadasz comes in. That's a good get for the Chargers, who obviously want to run the ball. Mike McDaniel's offense. Cade Otton comes back to the Buccaneers. I think he's a massive value now. You got to figure he was going way too late, and I wish I had more shares, if I'm being honest, of Cade Otton. And 20 million guaranteed. That's definitely not for nothing, right? That's 2 years, 100% 2 years that he's staying on this team, if not the full 3. And with Mike Evans moving on, I think that's a great contract for Cade Otton to move up the board. I think he has to move up the board. So we'll see. But I'll be taking some more Cade Otton. And now you can comfortably put him in your Tampa Bay stacks. So we'll see how that goes. Cade Mays, good get for the Detroit Lions. Yeah. Anchor that offensive line. Reed Blankenship to the Texans. Cool. Charlie Kolar. A lot of people are making a big deal out of this. Like it affects Oronde Gadsden. I really don't think it does at all. Like this is basically like Josh Oliver for the Vikings. It's a similar contract. 8 million AAV. I think Josh Oliver was like 17 million guaranteed. So again, it's 2 of the 3 years for sure for Charlie Kolar. So good get for the Chargers, but I wouldn't be concerned about Oronde Gadsden. I still would like him. I would still draft him. Maybe he falls a little bit, so we might be able to scoop some value there, though I'm probably not adding, but good get for the Chargers. I don't think it hurts Gadsden personally. Josh Jobs resigns. Cool. With the Seahawks. Tim Settle. Cool. Goes back to the Commanders. Daniel Bellinger follows Dable to the Titans. I don't think that's much of anything realistically. If you like Helm, you can still take him. He'll probably be like a 15 to 20 catches, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns sort of thing. Same thing he was with the Giants. I don't think he's sees an uptick in production with the move. DeMario Davis back to the Jets. A little bit too much money for my liking for a guy that old. $15 million guaranteed. Yeah, go ahead. Tonga plays a little bit of fullback sometimes for the Chiefs. J.K. Dobbins, $8 million guaranteed. Realistically, this is a 1-year deal. Again, like Dobbins is going to be on 1-year deals until he kind of falls apart completely. I guess people are going to start I'm not drafting J.K. Dobbins. I'll just say that. I'm not doing it. If you want to go nuts, go ahead. Guys don't typically get more healthy as the season goes on. And a guy that's habitually injured, money's in week 17. I'm not drafting J.K. Dobbins. Arden Key goes to replace Kwity Paye. That's a good get, I suppose. Anzalone, that's a surprising, exit from Detroit. He was one of the leaders, if not the main leader on that defense. And then he should be a leader in the Buccaneers defensive room. So that's a good get for the Bucs, I suppose. Quincy Williams leaves the Jets, goes to the Browns. No guaranteed money, so that's fine, I guess. Amik Robinson goes to Washington. Good slot receiver, good nickelback sort of thing. Good on him. D. Alford, cool. Singleton. Kenny Gainwell, there we go. Kenny Gainwell goes to the Buccaneers, basically replaces Rachaad White and Sean Tucker. 10 million in guaranteed. Yeah, that's closer to a 2-year than a 1-year deal. 14 total, 7 AAV. So that's pretty close to the full 2 years, which is fine. Kenny Gainwell is just a good player. Like realistically, I don't think this changes anything for Bucky. I really don't. I have a bag of Bucky Irving, and I'll keep drafting him, especially if he falls. Because if we like Bucky Irving with Rachaad White and Sean Tucker, how do we not like Bucky Irving with just Kenny Gainwell? Do they bring someone in the draft? Probably, but are they going to be able to, really challenge Gainwell or Bucky? I don't think so. And I mean, we saw 2 running backs have a solid role with the Falcons last year. Obviously, one was the clear-cut starter, one was the clear-cut backup, but had a good role. I think Kenny Gainwell is still draftable, and Bucky Irving's just fine where he's going. So I'm gonna if he falls, I'm gonna gobble up some value on Bucky. We'll see how that goes, and I'll keep drafting Kenny Gainwell, kind of at pace of the field sort of thing. We got Hulk smashed potatoes in here. What's up, man? I appreciate you. That money signals Naylor probably wide receiver 1 for his current price. Great value. I'd hammer him, but keep expectations low. Yeah, it depends on if he rises or how much he rises. So I don't disagree with that. Like the money says, but At the same time, Trey Tucker's on a rookie contract. Jack Bash is on a rookie contract. Just because the money says wide receiver 1 doesn't mean he's going to be, if they like one of those two guys on a rookie contract, more. Right. So I hope that it's Jack Bash. I just like him a lot. I think he's a very talented, quality wide receiver. I have quite a few shares, nothing crazy, but oh, geez, big sneeze. So I just think like it could very well be Jack Bash. Could be Trey Tucker too, but that's big money for Jalen Naylor. It's definitely signals that he's going to have a role, and they have like what's interesting is like they must see the role that he's going to have with the offense, so that's encouraging. So, like I said, I think he's definitely a fine click, but we'll see how far he rises. Right, punter Cole Strange, cool. Again, no guaranteed money. Follows Mike McDaniel. Good get, I suppose. Punter Algier, good move for the Cardinals. Again, that's similar to the Kenny Gainwell contract in that it's closer to a 2-year deal than a 1-year deal, though they could definitely get out of it after one season. I would expect Algier to, obtain the lion's share of carries. But it's going to be kind of like a timeshare. Like James Conner will be the third down back and then getting more work than just third down, 3rd and 10 sort of thing. Right. So, with Algier kind of lacking receiving skills, and that's kind of where James Conner flourishes a little bit, but he can also do the early down stuff as well. So, it's interesting. I think his price is fine. I think he was rising, but he should fall back down. I think he was rising with the hope or thought that he ends up with the Chiefs. And now that he's with the Cards and they're a bad team, I think he should definitely fall back towards Rico Dowdle when they were going side by side. And then we'll see if Dowdle actually goes ahead of Algier, which I think is definitely possible. We'll see how that goes. Kelsey comes back to the Chiefs. Is always going to be that. Kendrick Bourne, again, no guaranteed money, so it's not a big deal, but he signs to be the third wide receiver essentially with the Cardinals. Not a guy that I'm drafting at all. Let's just look for offensive guys. Viridian Lowe is an interesting one just because maybe it signals that they could be moving on from Trent. Let's keep an eye on that one because that could be a big move. He definitely can and does play left tackle. So if Trent Williams moves on, that could change things as far as the 49ers are concerned. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on just because they brought in Viridian Lowe. That's interesting. Center comes in from the Giants. There you go. Backup center for the Giants. Maybe he's the starter, replaces Lloyd Cushenberry. I'm not sure. But I guess that makes some sense. 3.5 guaranteed, 1-year deal. Kenny Pickett comes in to be the backup, replaces Andy Dalton, I suppose. Alec Ingold, no surprise, follows Mike McDaniel to the Chargers. He's going to be on the field. They're going to play that I formation sort of thing, play action. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of running, I think, in in Los Angeles for the Chargers. Mariota comes back. They didn't want to fully guarantee it. That's kind of rude. Just keep a few $100,000 in their pocket, but whatever. Mariota comes back. Gardner Minshew goes to the Cardinals. He's going to be the backup to Jacoby Brissett, it seems. Definitely doesn't change anything. Case Keenum, that's an interesting one. That's when I saw this signing, to me, that says Tyson Bagent's on the move. So is Tyson Bagent going to the Jets now? I thought it was to the Cardinals, maybe. Maybe it's to the Jets. Like, why do you bring in Case Keenum at all if Tyson Bagent's your number 2? You paid him. Like, why would you bring in Case Keenum and guarantee him $2.9 million to be your third? I just don't really see it. To me, that signals we should keep an eye on Tyson Bagent. But there's not a lot of spots left. It's like Pittsburgh, and I think Shepherd is a Pennsylvania university. I think he's a Pennsylvania guy, I think. And then the Jets, essentially. The Browns. I don't know about that. The Vikings? Maybe. We'll see how that goes. But that's one to keep an eye on. Tyson Bagent's one to keep an eye on for sure with this Case Keenum signing. Braxton Jones comes back. That's a good get for them. Kyle Allen is the backup to Josh Allen. It's fine. It is what it is. Hooper comes back. Do everything else we really want to dig into here? I don't think so. Let's jump into a draft room. Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle signs with Pittsburgh. We don't have details yet, as far as I can tell. So that would be good to get the details, though he basically just replaces obviously just replaces I saw the comment there, Jeff. I'll get to that in a second. Replaces Gainwell. Geez. So we'll see what the contract details say, because that will kind of dictate a little bit. But I do like Dowdle coming in. You know, if you liked Gainwell thinking he would be with the Steelers, then you got to like Dowdle there too. Dowdle was more expensive than Gainwell. Does he fall to where Gainwell was going? I don't know. Should he? I don't know. I think he's still a fine click. But we'll kind of see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. That's one to keep an eye on as far as the ADP movement for Rico Dowdle. Zacchaeus to the Falcons, I'm not too worried about that. Fant to the Saints is actually a good signing for them, but shouldn't really move the needle too much. That's about it. And then obviously some trades. Do we want to talk about the trades? Not really. Basically, it's like Pittman, right? Is the big one, which we need to find out who their quarterback is first. Let's jump into a draft and let's kind of continue this conversation. Let's jump into not a little board. Sorry. Let's jump into a big board. There we go. Jump into a big board. This is number 80 or 81 or something. Whoops. I don't want to allow notifications. There we go. Hopefully you got in. That seemed to fill quick. Top 4 pick. Let's go. Michael Moisen. Not sure if he's watching. Grabs the 1-1. Good for him. Ty Nasty FF, I think, is a watcher of the show. Fenny34 might be a watcher of the show. I'm not sure. If you're in the chat and drafting, let me know. Or you can lurk. I don't mind if you lurk. Do your thing. Whatever you want to do. West Virginia. Bajan is for West Virginia. Shepherd is his hometown college. Went to church with the college football coach. Nice. West Virginia. That's right. I mean, close to Pittsburgh. So, could make some sense. Like I think Bajan could definitely be on the move, but it's just like, what are the landing spots? Those are the only 3 realistically. Pittsburgh and the Jets are the 2, like, those are the landing spots. And then the Vikings. So we'll see where Kyler goes, because Kyler's still out there, right? He's kind of the other piece that needs to fall, with Tua going to the Falcons. So that's another reason why I was never drafting Michael Penix. Makes sense for the Falcons. Doesn't make sense for us in the fantasy world. Are you drafting either of those guys? I'm not. Jamar Chase. Oh, and Kirk Cousins is still out there as well, I suppose. We'll do Jamar Chase, obviously. That's pretty clear cut. Easy peasy. So let's look at these ADPs actually. Let's look at these. So where's our first signee? Let's touch on this George Pickens things again. Like the Alec Pierce contract really doesn't help the Cowboys get George Pickens just to play on the tag. Like, this guy's making at least 1 point something more than me, and I'm head and shoulders that much better than Alec Pierce. And you guys want me to play on a 1-year, $27 million, and this dude's getting 28.5. Like, give me a break. So that's going to be tough for the Cowboys to get him to play on that contract. Realistically, that's tough. That's a tough one. So Kenny Walker, 28. He's going to flip Jacobs for sure. Probably flips Bucky almost certainly. Which means I guess he's right at the end of the second round at 24th overall is kind of where he gets to. Could flip Nico. I think he should probably flip Pickens, but probably doesn't flip Chase Brown. So I guess we can get like 5 picks of ADP value if he goes into, basically if he's in the 3rd round, I would say take him. That's kind of where I would be at with him. Bears wouldn't trade within the division, but agree Beijing may start next year. Career suicide if he lands on the Jets for his sake. Let's hope it doesn't happen. I mean, they said already, Ben Johnson already said he wants to do right by him and give him a shot to start. And if they offer him enough, like if it's a second round pick, they'll trade him to the Vikings. I doubt that the Vikings do that. I'm just throwing it out there. Like if the price is right, they'll do it. So, teams trade within the division. It's less likely, don't get me wrong, but it's not impossible. It doesn't never, ever happen, right? So Kenny Walker goes at 15 right there. Took Kenny Walker late second in my draft today. I think that's fair. 15 might be a bit aggressive if you ask me. I'm not taking him over Hampton personally. Barkley's aggressive. I might have taken him at 21 here, but still probably not. But that's fine. I think that range is fine. If you're getting him in the third round, I think click him every time. But if he flies up the board like this, then I think that's a little aggressive. We'll see. We will see. Early second. Wow. I think that's aggressive, but what do I know? I might pair up Chase with Bowers. I'm going to do that. I think I might have to move Bowers up a little bit. Let's do that. We got some news. Patriots are signing Elijah Vera Tucker. Wow. That's a really good get for them. It's a good get for the Patriots. It's good to get for the running backs and Drake May. With Alec Pierce not going to the Raiders, and Naylor going, I don't think I could really see them making another splash at a free agent wide receiver. And who's even there? It's Dobbs, and there's one more that's pretty good still out there. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. I guess I just take Bucky here. I kind of have to, actually. Let's go Bucky. So I don't think that they address it again. They could in the draft for sure, but I just do not think that they address it in free agency. So I think Bowers needs to move up a little bit. I think McBride becomes fine still, but I still think in a vacuum, Bowers should be higher than McBride. So I think we're getting some value on Bowers right now. It does kind of suck that Kenny Walker is no longer on this side of the board in the third, because that would have felt even better, but it is what it is. Etienne moves up to the early third. That's interesting to me. Every draft I've done, Kenny Walker goes early second. Looks like it. I guess that's the new price. That's a little aggressive to me. Do I just, bite the bullet and pay the price? Maybe. We'll see. I think it'll be hard to take him over Hampton personally. Do you take him over Love? I think you maybe do, just if it's Love to the Titans or Love to the Giants, though the Titans I think is a pretty good landing spot actually now, but it's a little bit murky with Spears and Pollard still there. I don't know. Over Barkley and over Hampton seems a little rich to me. Even over Derrick Henry and Chase Brown seems a little rich to me. I think that might be a bad price. We'll keep an eye on that, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again. It's something that's definitely going to come up again. If that's his new price, we're going to dig into that, but we'll see. File under minor move, but Thornton signs new deal with KC. It's a good signing for him. That makes sense for him to do that, obviously, 100%. Elijah Vera Tucker, 3-year deal. Cool. Good get for them. Thornton makes sense for both parties, to be honest. Someone took Tootham at 41 in my draft earlier today. People doing crazy stuff today. They always do, and that's why it's a good day to draft. But you could also see some positions just dry up in front of your eyes, essentially. Though wide receiver is tough to do that, I feel like, but so it's still realistically just running back. They could just, basically, yeah, dry up in front of your face, which is a little kind of depressing. Mike Evans there, I'm not taking him. It's just not happening. I think Terry McLaurin's an absolute smash here. I think he's just an absolute auto click right here. I really do. I really do. I think he's an auto click down here at the, start of the fourth. But if you can get him at the back end of the fourth, it's just an absolute auto click, in my opinion. And then it just makes this team feel a lot better. I still am kind of behind at running back, I suppose you could say. But this just feels way too good at wide receiver to pass up. So we'll see what falls to me. It's still kind of a wide receiver range, but it is what it is. If I have to throw a little bit of volume at the running back spot, I'll do that. I guess if I have to pull up, Tootin, not to 41, that's for sure, or even 52. But I do think he could. Wow, there goes Tootin at 49. Okay. Michael Moyson might be watching. I don't know. I think that's a little aggressive personally, but we'll see. Bash Barty, very good drafter. Probably not watching the show, but very good drafter. Waddle goes nice. I really wanted Henderson to be there for me, and he kind of falls into my lap. I really like that. I really feel like I needed that. Elijah Vera Tucker comes in. That helps out the offensive line. I like that. I want Tootin to smash, but we have multiple vets on the market and a draft to get through, plus LeQuint can play. I have a boatload of LeQuint Allen personally. And this could be a draft that I take him in right here. Actually, it makes a lot of sense already, but we'll see when we get there because I do like the Trevion Henderson get right there. But yeah, I think that's aggressive for Tootin. Let's go back to that because I think he should flip, like I said. Warren, I don't know about Montgomery. Montgomery should kind of keep rising, I suppose. He should definitely flip Stevenson. Wait, what's his ADP at? What's Tootin's ADP at right now? 73.9. Okay. That's kind of where he should go, though he should go ahead of Warren, and I think Montgomery should too, but I think that's both of those things are happening. Should Tootin go ahead of Swift? I think he's fine to go near him, I suppose. But there's just a lot of other good clicks around here. I just feel like that's just the running back market, again, just drying up in front of your face, and it kind of is what it is. So I guess with that, it's like either you just pay the price or you hope that zero RB works or something. It's kind of where it's at with running backs. Basically, you either swallow it and pay the price, or you don't win if that's the strategy that you need. You know what I mean? Like it kind of is what it is. The market's the market. I always say, like, the price is the price. The market's the market. Either you like it or you don't. And that's kind of what the bottom line is. Like, either you're willing to pay it or you're not. And that will decide what your structure is. So we've all kind of bought in that the structure is going to be hero RB, robust RB, whatever kind of, acronyms we want to throw at it. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I don't know if I quite agree with Tootin going quite that high. I think though he should go ahead of Scadaboo, I'm fine with that. And Judkins, I'm fine with that. The deciding factors here are kind of like, Henderson, Montgomery, and Swift. Those are the competitors to Tootin going this high that I don't know if I can get behind. Swift, I could get behind. I'm not so sure about Montgomery. I was hoping he'd fall to me at 69. Montgomery there, I would have snap clicked him. Harvey as well, I would have snap clicked. I don't think I can get behind Tootin and Henderson. Like, I don't know what the difference is between those two realistically, value-wise, price-wise, or what it should be value-wise, price-wise. So, yeah. Josh Allen and Lamar. Warren and Loveland. Interesting. We're going to bring in Joe Burrow, obviously, with Chase. It just makes too much sense to make that click right there. So let's just do that. Jags seem likely to sign a vet to split the load. Tootin Reach seems like fool's gold, but who's left? Like, who's really left out there on the running back market? They could do like Najee, I suppose. Who else is there? Who else is out there that, could really even challenge LaQuint Allen besides Najee? I don't know if I'm missing somebody or forgetting somebody, which I could be. A lot happened today, but yeah, I don't know, or unless there's a trade out there. But I wouldn't be shocked if they just go into the season with Tootin and LaQuint Allen. I honestly wouldn't be shocked. I really, really would not be too surprised on that one, personally. Does DK get affected by this? I think he should. Yeah, I think he should. Do I like Alec Pierce? I definitely like Parker Washington here. That's for damn sure. Tyler Algier moves way up. I don't know if I can get behind that one either. So this is kind of what I mean. Like, the price is the price. Bucky and Henderson, I feel okay about that, but I'm definitely thin and falling behind, you could say. But it is what it is. Ex-Cohen RBs, two list free agency. Yeah, Rashad White. I don't think that makes sense, man. I don't think Rashad White makes much sense for the Jags. I really don't. I really, really don't. And Sean Tucker, I'm assuming you're thinking, which I suppose, but I don't think he makes sense either. Like, honestly, Najee makes some sense being a big body guy. He can play on all three downs. I think that would make more sense than either of the former Buccaneers personally, but hard to say. 5-spot hates money, loves QBs. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that one. Also loves tight ends. Yeah, 2022. Like, that team's going to be in rough shape as far as the running back position is concerned. I'm worried about mine, and I've got Bucky and Henderson. He's got 0 running backs. That's not a good spot to be in. Obviously, his wide receivers are in decent shape, though. Again, with Metcalf, that's an interesting one. The Metcalf, he's definitely should go down, I suppose, right? It's though, like, DK was never much of a like volume target hog kind of guy, and that's kind of what Pittman is. So again, it's just mostly the concern would be who's the quarterback. That's the concern. Is it Aaron Rodgers? And even if, like, do they want to wait to find out? I think if I'm the Steelers, I don't know. Now that they've made that trade for Pittman and brought in Dowdle, that offense looks a lot better with the new offensive type of coach in there. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's just Arthur Smith is a garbage offensive coordinator, in my opinion. And I like the guy that they brought in. So who's going to be the quarterback? That's the big concern. Who's the quarterback? Tyson Bagent? I don't know. Mac Jones? I doubt it. Kirk Cousins? Hard maybe. Will Howard? Another hard maybe. We'll see how that goes. Pittman goes at 86. I think that's a fall. Where was he going before? No, 91. He moves up. Interesting. Moves up a little bit. I'm not so sure about that one. Monungai goes. Rico Dowdle's there. I might have to take Rico. Kind of pairs up with my Cincinnati, so that's cool as well. But I just feel like I need a running back here. And I don't mind what he can do. Again, the price is the price. To be honest, that price doesn't make sense. 8th round, Rico Dowdle as like the kind of 1A, 1B type of situation. Would I pick Gainwell there? No, I wouldn't. I'm not sure that's a good click, actually. But it's a weird range. It's a really weird range. Do I like Pitts here? Not really. Maybe I should have just went Laporta with Goff. That would have been okay. Jennings is the other wide receiver I was thinking of earlier. I think I'm just going to bring in Jadarian Price. Actually, no, it's got to be Worthy. Let's go Worthy. Let's go Worthy. I should have probably picked Worthy over Dowdle. I think Corum's actually a better, more palatable click now as well. I don't know. This running back market is kind of fucked up, if I'm being honest. Maybe you can hack to play one of his QBs at RB. Maybe Josh Allen would be a good RB option. What's up, man? Ty Nasty FF. Hey, man, enjoyed your streams. Draft week last few weeks. Started to finally make a YouTube so I could move from lurker to supporter. Nice. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Hit that like button, guys. By the way, PS, hit the like button. We got what, 30 watching, something like that. 23 on the YouTube. However many on Twitter, hard to say, but hit that like button if you don't mind, and create a a channel or create a YouTube account, right? Log in, hit subscribe, hit the like button, all that kind of stuff. Really helps us content creators keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? So shout out for setting up an account. Hit that like button and subscribe if you like the content. Only if you like the content, but I appreciate that. Just moved Rico to where Gainwell was 120-ish. Yeah, I think that's correct. He is in the 12 spot. I think that's correct. I don't think that was a good click by me. Monagai would have been a snap click. But I actually think Corum should be a better click here than Dowdle. Pollard probably too, but it's just a little uncertainty there with the whole Jeremiah Love thing kind of lingering. Maybe Price is a better click than Dowdle. Again, that's a maybe. I don't know. It's an interesting running back market. It's very, very interesting, this running back market we're living in right now. There goes Gainwell. I think that's fine. That makes some sense. New collectors in here. What's up, man? Appreciate you popping in. Still on the mend and haven't drafted much yet. What round is the RB dead zone? I mean, I don't know, man. Like, basically, I don't know. Man, Jordan Mason goes. That would have been a snap click for me there. I guess it's just Juwan Jennings. I still think that wherever he goes, he's going to have a solid role. Let's do Malik Willis. Let's pull an audible and let's get some Malik Willis in our lives. I feel like I need 3 quarterbacks, so we're going to address that. The RB dead zone, I don't know, man. It's the whole running back market is just, it's just wild. It just doesn't make sense, if I'm being honest. Like I said, Dowdle, I guess like that's a bad ADP due to when he was a free agent, right? No longer a free agent. We know where he is. I think that price is too high, and I'm the one that just clicked it, so that's on me. That's a bad click, I feel like. But again, there's just these weird zones and ranges of like, who do you take? Like, who else do you take? Essentially, was like what it boils down to. I am going to pull up. Well, I'm going to take a quarterback regardless here. There goes Darnold. So I'm going to take Mendoza, pair him up with Bowers. I think that's prudent with the quarterback market being out of whack. But yeah, the prices just don't make sense. I think Javonte is probably too expensive. Basically, it starts there. Like, Javonte is too expensive. Tootin's becoming way too expensive. Henderson, I don't necessarily agree with that price. Scadaboo is ridiculous. Judkins is ridiculous. Swift is okay, but I don't like paying it. Montgomery's fine. Harvey's fine there now, though he's fallen. Warren doesn't necessarily make sense. Algier doesn't make sense. Stevenson, they're all 1A, 1B type situations. So why are we racing to essentially the bottom with all of these running back situations and prospects and players, right? It's a fucked up market, and it's strung throughout the whole draft board. So I don't know if there is like a dead zone. I don't know. I'm not the person to ask about, RB dead zone sort of thing, if I'm being honest, but I don't know. It's a weird market. It's just a weird market. Seems like the lead is shifting towards 12 personnel, but the Bucs are primed to play heavy 11. I've been saying that for years, that the NFL is going to move to big body running backs, pounding it between the tackles, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, right? The teams that are doing it at a higher clip are ahead of the game, which is, the Rams at a high clip. So I've been saying that for years. I think that's true. I agree with this. And then 2 running backs. We're getting a lot of run out of these running backs. So that's why there's so many valuable running backs out there. They're all going to get some run for the most part. But again, then it leads to an uneven market where it just, again, doesn't make sense. But it is what it is. Like I've been saying kind of all show, either you pay the price or stop bitching about it. I don't know. The market is the market. The price is the price. Fancy Dog Pound in the house. What's up, Pat? Appreciate you popping in. Jordan Mason undervalued by about 4 rounds. One of the best clicks on the board, locked into starter, and has always been very efficient. I agree. I think he's a huge value. It would have been a snap click for me over Willis if Mason was still there and I was pulling him up myself, but he's going to kind of fly up the board a little bit. I think in the next little bit. They're not going to bring anybody in for the most part through free agency, but it's also a good rookie landing spot for running back. Probably, if not the best, one of the best landing spots for a rookie running back. Wookie running back. We're done at quarterback for sure. No question there. I might just take a Mike Washington share, because why not? And I would take him over any of these running backs. Emmett Johnson, I just have a massive bag of already anyways. So let's get a little bit more Mike Washington, where his ADP is at least settling. And like I've been just hounding on, this market doesn't make any sense anyways. So either pay the price or shut up, man. Disbanded in the house. You got to lick it before you click it. Word. What movie is that from? Booty Call. Well, I'm not sure that's exactly the line, but if you've ever seen the movie Booty Call before, like mid-90s movie, you know what I'm talking about. Dad doesn't support early QB. The problem is you have like 12 QBs going within 24 picks and the market dries up fast. Exactly. And really the big issue with quarterbacks is like, round 5 or sooner sort of thing. If they're like in the big board, all quarterbacks get pulled up. So round 6 through 8 is perfectly fine. 9, perfectly fine. But 6 through 8 to me is that sweet spot for quarterbacks. It's just like the elites, the Josh Allens, and Lamar's fallen, but I think Lamar is a terrible click. Personally, I'm not taking a lot of Lamar. Let's make this click and then we'll put a bow on that conversation. Juwan, I think, makes a lot of sense. Though I think Jalen McMillan is a very, very quality click down here. I can get a replaceable value at tight end basically at any point, whereas I think McMillan is kind of a smash here. Bet on the Bucs a little bit. That's fine. I like that. Don't mind this team. Also, like, I have Bowers, so I don't really care about my tight end too, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's really what it is about quarterbacks. It's like Josh Allen has never won anything when he went in the second round, third round, whatever it is. Like, he won BBM2 for Liam when he was going in like the 8th, 10th round, whatever it was. So that's where you got to be clicking. You just got to find the zone that, where I think winning quarterback will go, essentially. And for me, it's round 6 through 8 in this tournament, right? In Best Ball Mania, it's always been rounds 8 through 12. Always. Look back through the history of Best Ball Mania winners. They drafted their winning quarterback in round 8 through 12, 100% of the time. Maybe not year one. I can't remember Herzig's, but you just have to basically find the sweet spot for where, the value quarterbacks are going, and then take at least 2 of them. That's my strategy. Though, what did I do here? I got Burrow and then just 2 other guys. That's fine. That's a fine strategy as well. Like 2 guys that you believe in, like Cam Ward, Bryce Young, Mendoza, Darnold, Stroud, Shuck, sure. But Willis and Mendoza are pretty much the 2, those are 2 other guys that are just fine to pair up with a high, caliber, Joe Burrow, Caleb, Hurts, Dak, May, Daniels, Herbert, any of those types of guys, I think. Even Purdy, Lawrence. I mean, even Goff, Mayfield with these 2 is fine when you have 3 in your room. Who do you advocate goes ahead? They're all mixing in with wide receiver 1Bs and wide receiver 2s. What do you mean? Who do you advocate goes ahead of who? I'm not sure what you're asking, Flyfish. They're all mixing in wide receiver 1Bs and wide receiver 2s. I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry, man. If you want to put another question in there, I'll definitely revisit it. Disband remembers that movie. Tommy Davidson, Jamie Foxx. You betcha, man. Trying to get some leg on the first date. You betcha. Not with each other. No. Funny movie, man. I like that movie a lot. It's really funny. Underrated movie, I think. Worth a watch. Good luck finding it. I don't know where you'd be able to find that movie, but it was actually, I'm due to watch that one. It's a funny one. Vivica Fox was in that as well. I think Kamani Vidal actually makes a lot of sense. I don't have enough of them. I feel like he should rise over a bunch of these guys. Tendered, if he's the RB2, he's going to have some value. So let's do that. I'm going to get a free click somewhere with only taking 2 tight ends. I don't think I need any more Chimere DK here. I took a Jerry Jeudy share the other day, and it felt okay. This could kind of be a range where I think it could make sense to take a Jerry Jeudy share. Katron Allen could make some sense here. Barner could make some sense here. Tajay, I think, is okay, where I might have to take 7. But let's just get fun then. If he's there, let's take Eli Stowers with Bowers. That's fun. And then we're done at tight end. I kind of like that. We can mix that in. Your assessment of the RB market being overpriced, starting at Javonte, those RBs are scattered amongst wide receivers with volume questions, not primarily targeting their offenses. Yeah, I mean, everybody has questions there, including, again, the running backs. So with Javonte, if A.J. Brown gets moved, or let's go this way, sorry. So Mike Evans, yeah, give me Javonte over Mike Evans, that's for sure. Give me Loveland over Javonte. McLaurin is a smash over Javonte, personally, in my opinion. Zay Flowers, I think that's where it could dry up and swap. Waddle depends. And yeah, we'll see about that. But Tootin, I think, give me all of these kind of wide receivers over him. Henderson's an interesting one. Give me all these wide receivers over Scatterbo and Judkins. That's easy. All of these wide receivers that go ahead of Swift, give me the wide receivers. And the other thing that kind of hurts a lot of these running backs is, again, this is round 6 through 8, kind of the quarterback sweet spot. So that's why Ramondre continues to fall. Harvey continues to fall. I think Warren should fall a little bit. And Algier, I don't think belongs up here. So, I mean, that's basically in a nutshell. Your comment and everything I just said in a nutshell is why it's so consolidated at the top here. And we see a lot of 2 running back starts, 3 running back starts, 2 running back, through 2, 3, right? We're seeing a lot of those types of starts. And that's the winning strategy this year, because then it's, again, there's question marks strewn throughout the whole draft board. I don't disagree with that. So really, it's like, how do you, what did we say here before? How do we advocate who goes ahead of who? It's structure. It's always structure. The answer is always structure, always. So if you started, 3 running backs, then obviously you're going to prioritize these wide receivers, even though there's question marks. If you started 2 wide receivers, I mean, this guy didn't, but he should have. Though I think he kind of landed the plane with Monagai, Corum, Mason, Tracy and Benson are kind of, but it's always structure, right? So again, this guy down here, same thing, Garrett Wilson and Carnell Tate, Pittman, he's taken some kind of shots there as far as wide receiver. Boston, Diggs, right? So yeah, it's I've been saying time and time again that it's just such an interesting draft board this year, in my opinion. Just such an interesting dynamic draft board. It's tough this year. It's going to be tough to win, I think. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be easy. It won't be easy, but maybe it won't be that bad. But I don't know. I think it's just a very, very, very tough draft board this year. And maybe that's just that, drafters are getting better and smarter. I don't know. Let's do Surratt. Let's do Surratt. That was a long conversation, but I like that. I don't know. Does sound like it's a real possibility. I wouldn't have thought so until recently, but it's kind of gaining steam, which has me concerned. I don't have a crazy bag of Kamara. I have like 7 or 8% or something like that. So it would, I mean, by the time I'm done drafting, it'd get down to like 2, 3 or 4 maybe percent. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But it does sound like it's getting legs right now that he could retire. Do I go with a rookie or do I go with the old dusty vet? Actually, it's the 17th round, so it's literally always Jeremy Bernard, unless he went. Did someone take Jeremy Bernard on me? Wow. The nerve. Let's take Singleton over Najee on this one. Let's do that. The nerve, taking Najee on me in the 16th round, or Najee taking Bernard on me in the 16th round. I will draft him in the 16th if that's where he starts going. I might have to throw 7 at this room. Running back room, that is. I think I do have to throw 7. I'm fine with 8 wide receivers. So I'm going to take 1 more running back for sure. And 2 more wide receivers, I think, is prudent. Yeah, it's gaining legs. The old Kamara retiring situation. Tight end run. Otten gets kind of pulled up there. Theo Johnson's not particularly clickable. Yeah, bunch of running back or tight ends right here. 6 straight. 6 straight tight ends, with Stowers being the last. Fryermuth could click with likely Ferguson. Yeah, that's good tight end room. As of now, Javonte Tootin and Scatterville volume on elite to interesting offenses. They seem fairly priced compared to wide receivers around them, but in my opinion, mileage may vary. I don't think Scatterville is. That's for damn sure. If there's any truth to the Giants and Jeremiah Love, then Scatterville's dead at that ADP. But sure, like you can make that argument. I'm not going to argue with you if that's what you're looking for. I'm not going to argue with you. It's just, again, it's structure. It's structure. The first 2 to 3 rounds is going to decide what you're doing down here anyways. So I'm not drafting those running backs a crazy amount. We'll see what happens with Tootin's ADP because things have changed obviously in the last 2 days. Javante's fine. I just like a lot of these wide receivers and Loveland, and I think McLaurin is an absolute smash over Javonte every day of the week and twice on Sundays. So I'll continue to do that every day, all day, every day. I might just do Torrey Horton. I kind of want just a little bit more, and I think he could be that wide receiver too, essentially, in that offense. So let's do that. Yeah. Again, I just think that there are better clicks in the 4th round than Javonte Williams, no question. And there are better clicks than Scatterbu in the 5th round, no question. We'll see what happens with Tootin. That's an interesting one. I can't particularly advocate on that too much yet or talk on it too much because a bunch could change there. LeQuint goes, damn. That was going to be my click here. Let's do Jordan James then if they haven't brought anybody in yet. Then let's do Jordan James. And then we'll wrap this up with a wide receiver. Probably a rookie. I think what makes it tough is that everyone is in a race to get 3 QBs and 3 running backs is what it is. It's a race to, again, potentially the bottom. It seems like every draft I'm in, there's always one team with only one starting quarterback. Definitely. You have to get your quarterbacks out of the way and your running backs out of the way. That's just like what the thesis is for everybody. So it's a race. That's why the prices are inflated. If you disagree with me, then that's fine. Disagree with me. But I think that the prices are inflated for both quarterback and running back. But maybe that's just me. There's such usable wide receiver clicks late this year. To F13 personnel run game emphasis, declining wide receiver 2 scoring meta continues. That's what the value is to be had. I would agree with that. I think there's tons of value at wide receiver at the end. Yeah. What do you think about the Titans free agency haul? It's good for them. It's very good on the defensive side. The backup center from the Giants might be their starting center. That could be good. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know enough about the guy yet. Wandale, I think, is fine for the actual money. The contract seems inflated. It's not that much, but it makes sense. Dable, a security blanket type of guy for Cam Ward. Bellinger coming in, another guy that knows the offense. Just brought in a bunch of guys that know the offense, which again is helpful, especially again for a rookie quarterback. Bringing some guys that know the offense, know where they need to be, how to run it, verbiage, all that kind of stuff. So it's good for the Titans. Good haul, defense especially on the back end, because that secondary was garbage, and they did a lot to address that. So again, with some former Giants. So I think they did quite well in free agency. We'll see how they do in the draft. Do Ibuka and Godwin move up in your ranks after the Mike move? Seems like people are juicing Mike up, but the leaving the 2 Bucks where they were. Oh, we hit our quota of 2 sneezes tonight. I don't know about Godwin. I don't love clicking Godwin personally. The injury concerns, once you face that many injuries, it just starts to stack up and I get worried about it. I don't like to click guys that are, not particularly available as often as I would like to see them. Um, let's do I'm gonna bring in a rookie, I think. Or let's just do Andre Yoshivas. I need to get a little bit more. I like him as a player a lot. And when I have Joe Burrow, let's get a little bit more Yoshivas. I think it makes sense. Yeah. Where did Malik Washington go? You could make the argument I should have clicked him somewhere, but he went into 18th. Yeah, I would have clicked him here over Horton, no question. So that is what it is. Dash with Mendoza doesn't make sense. I just want Bowers, so I don't mind the team. We're going to jump right into another draft because I don't want to dilly-dally around. Let's get into another big board quickly so we can get this rolling. Wait on 2, jump in if you want to rip a draft. I don't love clicking Godwin. Let's finish this off. ADP is fine. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like clicking them. I don't like clicking them. These injuries are starting to stack up. He hasn't finished a season in like 3 years? Finished the season? I'm not sure if he played this whole season, the 130 targets. I'm confident he missed games, but was it? I think it was at the end of the season. I could be wrong, but these last 2 seasons, obviously, right? So it's just a concern when they start to stack up. I like Igbuka just fine. I think that, again, there's some better clicks there, like Terry McLaurin over Igbuka every single day of the week. Waddle, not so much anymore, but before we knew that Malik Willis was coming in, I liked Waddle over Igbuka. Roma Dunze could be a better click than Igbuka, but I get it, the ADP difference. So really, it's fine, and I would click him for sure. I don't know if he should rise or fall. I think Igbuka's fine. I think Godwin's fine. I think McMillan should move up the board. So 155 ADP. I think that there's a lot of meat on that bone as far as Igbuka or McMillan's concerned. He should go ahead of Tyreek. He should go ahead of Travis Hunter, Downs, Ayuk, probably even Shaheed, probably even Debo, if I'm being honest. Right around this Jaden Higgins area is probably where McMillan should go. So that's 30 picks of value, in a vacuum. Let's do JT. Let's do JT. So I think the real value is in McMillan right now, personally. Brissett got pulled way up. People definitely prioritizing structure, 3 QBs than value-based picks, it seems. We mostly agree here. Yeah, it just is, man. The price is the price. The price is the fucking price. The market's the market, right? Like, that's what it is. So pay it or don't. Like, again, pay the price to achieve your structure or stop bitching about it, essentially. Like, the cost is the cost. Pay it or don't. Bottom line. My point with Javonte Scatterbututin is that at the moment they offer access to RB volume that's getting snapped up early. So they may offer a way to arbitrage scoring, RB scoring while getting elite wide receivers early. Sure. I'm not arguing with you, dog. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. Like, your theory is sound and that's fine. Like, I'm not drafting that way. I'm taking the running backs early and banking on that. I'm mixing in all of these wide receivers, but I'm not typically going wide receiver start. I do want to mix that in as well. Because you like, again, this is a strategy. Is that your strategy? Great. If it is, great, do that. That there's multiple strategies. We know that, right? There's multiple strategies that we can employ when drafting best ball. This is one of them. Robust RB is another one, right? It's just like, again, what is the market dictating? What is the draft room dictating? Always. That's always what it is. I'm not going into a draft saying I'm going to draft XYZ way. whatever happens, happens. And then I got to pay the price or I don't pay the price, right? I'm going to pull up, let's pull up Kenny Walker here. Let's do that. If he's going earlier than this, typically, let's take a Kenny Walker share. So again, like it's going to dictate the way that you draft. So kind of take it from there, right? Like if Justin Jefferson falls into your lap and you drafted CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to take him every single time. I'm taking Justin Jefferson there every single time, right? Which he was previously. He's moved up a little bit, but you could absolutely start CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, and Justin Jefferson. Then you have to employ a strategy like you're talking about right here. You have to. So then you do, it is what it is. So it's not a matter of like agreeing or disagreeing or having even a conversation about it. It just is what it is. The prices are the prices. The market is the market. The draft board is the draft board. And then we just have to maneuver around it because again, the prices aren't shifting a crazy amount right now as far as being in big board season. We'll see what happens after the draft in Best Ball Mania season, but they're not going to shift a crazy amount anymore. Realistic, at least they shouldn't. I mean, Tootin moving way up doesn't make a lot of sense to me because, and I guess I should have been drafting him a heck of a lot more if he's going to fly up the board because that was always going to happen that ETN wasn't coming back. If they weren't going to franchise tag him, then he wasn't coming back essentially, but it is what it is. Six probably need to take Kenny Walker there so you don't feel gross about taking 1-2 turn and BBM. Yeah, there you go. I didn't even see your comment, but that's kind of where it makes sense, I guess. If he's flying up to the picks 13 through 15 and I get him at 19, then I guess I'll take a discount there. Let's get some shares. I do need some more shares of them, but I'm not sure I can agree with that over Henry or Chase Brown. But again, market's the market, man. If I want to get some shares, I got to get some shares there. Do I really want to go 3 straight running backs in this build? I don't particularly. Let's take T. Higgins then. Let's go T. Higgins. He came back and finished last year, but that was coming back from terrible injury the year prior when he was on a historic pace. Yeah, he did come back, but I think like even Tez Walker or Tez Johnson and McMillan was doing pretty well at the end of last year when he came back also. So I don't know. I'm kind of out on Godwin. I'll take him if he falls into my lap or if it makes sense with the Baker stack sort of situation, but I'm not a big Godwin drafter. He's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. He is a very, I wish like we got robbed of a lot of good Chris Godwin. We got robbed of a lot of like similar to like Odell. Obviously Odell's ceiling was higher than Chris Godwin for sure, but those are two players that I wish we got less, taken away from us as far as that from their injuries. That kind of sucks. Jerry Football's in the house. What's up, man? 23% McMillan feeling good. Yeah, that's got to feel decent anyways. That's got to feel decent. I'm not quite that high. 21% K9 feels good as well. Yeah, that would. I wish I had more of him. I'm only at like 7% somehow. I'm juicing all those Bucks guys. I see Godwin having a great year, taking that dependable Baker target he lost in Mike. Baker's going to need that safety blanket. Yeah, that could be Igbuka though. Like they play very similarly, which is why the Igbuka drafting didn't necessarily make a ton of sense when they just signed Godwin to that fairly big contract instead of letting him walk to the Patriots. And I mean, Evans and Godwin don't play similarly whatsoever. Irving at 41's got to feel really nice. Jeez, that's got to feel really nice. It would definitely be McConkey here. Yeah, he's still there. Let's go down that road. Though there is some Keenan Allen concern, that's for sure. But we're kind of bought in. Let's take Ladd. Though I still think Terry McLaurin might be a better click than Ladd and McConkey. Even if Keenan Allen doesn't re-sign with the Chargers, I think Terry might be a better click even than McConkey. But someone say Tootin. Know you're a big J Love fan. Does your stance change now that New Orleans is out, Tennessee or Washington? I mean, Washington, I want Washington a lot for Jeremiah Love. I think Washington's a phenomenal spot for Jeremiah Love. The Giants and the Titans, I don't love at all, but I'm still just going to bet on the talent with Jeremiah Love. Like, he's going to get the lion's share of the carries no matter where he goes. But the Washington Commanders would be the absolute nuts. That is the nut landing spot right now. So it might be me just coping that this Giants and Titans chatter is just FUD and trade FUD. But again, like I think it signals with what the Saints and the Chiefs did today. I think it signals that they know that he won't be there for them at 8 and 9. So yeah, I hope he doesn't get past the Commanders. I'll tell you that much 100%. Jeremiah Love does not get past the Commanders. And that's where I sincerely hope he lands. Got Kyron at 45 today. Felt good. Today's the day for people to do crazy things. Absolutely. I got Kyron pretty late as well. I don't remember exactly, but I got him earlier today in the 40s, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was in the 40s for sure. So somewhere around there. Actually, I think I was 4. Did I get him 45 as well? I might have. I might have to look if you really want, but I think I was at the 4. Or maybe I was at the 6 or 5 spot, something like that. I can't remember, but it was in the 40s, and that felt pretty good. That felt pretty good. I like a lot of clicks here, but man, I guess why is Henderson falling into the early 50s? I'll take a little bit of discount there. Again, the market is the market. Though Dunze is probably a better click. Twice in a row, Henderson's fallen 5 or 6 picks, half a round. And I need more shares, so I actually don't mind that. And they brought in Bear Tucker. That's a great get for them. Interesting. Rabona King, hey, just joined. You weren't a subscriber before, man? Appreciate you popping in. I think Jeremiah Love falls after the landing spot. I think the market priced in New Orleans or KC, and we know neither is happening. Maybe if he lands with the Commanders, no, he rises if anything. Maybe. Well, we'll see. He can't really rise much higher than he already is, but if it's the Commanders, then that price is awesome. If it's the Titans and Giants, he maybe falls like, I don't know, to the like end of the second, maybe, but not a crazy amount. He's still going to be going high. What are your thoughts on what the Seahawks do at running back? I think they're a huge candidate to bring in a rookie, obviously. Jadarian Price was I comped Jadarian Price to Kenny Walker, so I think that would make some sense. Again, Najee's still out there. That could make some sense for them as well. He's like a very unwealthy man's Zach Charbonnet. I'm glad Harvey went because I might have pulled my own arm into drafting him there. Let's take Tootin here then. Again, if he's going in the 40s, let's take him at 67. Basically at ADP. That feels really good. Let's do that. We're definitely only going 5 running backs. This is kind of aggressive, but it is what it is. That's going to free me up. Now I got to catch up at quarterback though. So yeah, Najee maybe, though probably not. I thought Rico Dowdle made a lot of sense for the Seahawks. It seems like they don't want to spend money. They drafted Kenny Walker. They drafted Zach Charbonnet. So maybe they want to attack the draft again. George Halani, someone mentioned, Jeff mentioned in the chat. I know they kind of like George Halani as well, but I think a rookie, that's another like nut landing spot for a running back, but it's not going to be Jeremiah Love. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be Price? Is it going to be Katron Allen? Is it going to be Emmett Johnson, Mike Washington? I mean, we don't know, obviously, because it's not going to be a first round pick. That's for damn sure. Probably not even a second round pick, but in the third, if they bring in a running back, that whoever that name is, they're going to rise in Best Ball Mania season. You're big in on Washington bounce back then, given that your Terry stance. Yeah, I absolutely am. Like Terry it was the contract situation, which never bodes well, which is why I'm pretty much out on George Pickens at his current cost. And I was like massively in on Terry McLaurin when he, 2 years ago before his big breakout, massively in on him there, then pretty much out because the contract situation. And similar again with Pickens. I'm out on Pickens. I don't like wide receivers that are contract disputes. They come in and they probably get hurt. A lot of times they get hurt. And it happened to Terry McLaurin. Jane Daniels also got hurt. They kind of made some poor, like, I guess you could say I predicted the downfall. I wouldn't be like, oh, I thought they would be a dog shit. But I definitely didn't think that they would be as good of a team as they were the year prior for the Commanders. The offseason moves that they made in free agency and just bringing in all these dusty old vets, I just didn't think made a lot of sense. Let's go Herbert, pair him up with McConkey. That just is prudent. If Parker was there, I might have had to take Parker Washington and gamble on Lawrence coming back to me, but no, can't fall any farther behind a quarterback. And then this year they have tons of money to spend. They're making some decent moves. Yeah, everybody should be healthy and under contract. So I am big on the Commanders kind of bouncing back as far as just like, and David Blau, I like David Blau, though Kingsbury is fine as well, but I like David Blau as a play caller. So we'll see where it all ends up. And that's another wide receiver landing spot is Washington. George Halani, probably going to have a role. He could be. That's what we talked about earlier, mentioned him. If they reach on Mike Washington in the second, that would be so fun for Best Ball. That would be a bad draft pick. That'd be a bad draft. And I don't think that they would do that. I think if they would take somebody in the third, they would take Mike Washington in the third. I think Price is fine in the third. I even think like Emmett Johnson and Katron Allen would be fine in the third. So that's where kind of I see them going. If Mike Washington is there, he could definitely go there, but it would be fun. Don't get me wrong. I do agree. It would be kind of fun for Best Ball. It would be sexy. Now I need to strap your seatbelt to get lapped in the race to get 3 QBs. Pretty much. We'll see where it goes. Lawrence is still on the board, so maybe he gets back to me. I guess I don't understand the Giants' bearishness for Love. Scatterby smashed on that shitty Giants before injury. How does Love fail in that environment with a healthier O-line, Dart in second year, and Neighbors back? I just don't love it because there's just a little bit more competition with Scatterby and Tracy. So you have another kind of power goal line back and you have another pass catching back. Not that either of them is better than Jeremiah Love in either of those things, because they're absolutely not. And he should be on the field over those guys every single time. It's just there's just more competition. Again, it might not matter. So it could be fine. Don't get me wrong. It might just not matter. That would have been nice to get Dart there, I should say. That would have been really nice to get Dart. Let's take Ricky. I think he's a good value here. I need wide receivers. So yeah, he could be fine. That offensive line, I mean, healthier. We'll see week, whatever it is that Andrew Thomas gets hurt. But yeah, bringing back Illuminor helps. That offensive line is not nearly as good as, I don't know, maybe other people think it's good. It's not a very good offensive line. It basically hinges on Andrew Thomas staying healthy, which he's not been able to do throughout his career. So if he can stay healthy and they add a couple pieces, yeah, that's fine. Again, it's just the competition. is my little bit of concern there. But again, it shouldn't matter because Love is head and shoulders better than either of those running backs at anything and everything. So yeah, that's the same thing with Tennessee, though. Realistically, it's the same conversation. It's again just more competition that I don't necessarily love. Like the Commanders, it's a straight path. Again, not that it's not for those other two teams because he's much better than both of them, so it should be. But that's kind of my issue. Sussin here, what's up, man? Appreciate you. I personally don't believe the Giants draft Love if he's there. Just my opinion. I agree. I don't think the Giants or the Titans draft him personally, but I haven't dug into my draft stuff yet, so we'll see. And the opportunity cost for who they could take on the defensive side there. Yeah, and offensive line, they could use a little bit with the Seahawks, I think, but definitely on the defensive side of the ball for sure. Yeah. Boye, Mafe, they need some pass rushers again. There's definitely some guys they could go after there. Let's do. I'm almost certainly. I was really hoping Purdy would fall back to me, though. I wasn't expecting it. I was just hoping a prayer. I don't know why that guy just didn't take Matthew Stafford and leave Purdy for me, but here we are. Then we're gonna take Baker. We're going to take Baker. I think that makes the most sense. I like Worthy there. QJ's price is slowly getting to where it should make some more sense, but I'm not clicking him even there probably. Give me Worthy. Give me Pittman over QJ. Give me Juwan Jennings over QJ. Gadsden could have been a click there with Herbert, obviously, and no tight ends, but it's just not necessary. I can't keep falling behind that quarterback realistically. At least I don't feel great about it. Though there's, again, those guys down there, Willis, Mendoza, Ward, all those guys down there are perfectly fine to add to. I could stop at Herbert and Mayfield if I'm being honest. Which I might do. I might do that. We'll see. Giants with Scatterable got to look at Cincinnati with Chase Brown. If you hit a productive late round RB, roll with him and draft higher value positions. I think Ty Nasty was talking about the Seahawks, but okay, never mind. It was. Yeah, I agree with that. Again, especially same conversation with the Seahawks never mind. The Seahawks were looking for pass rushers. We need back end help for the Giants because they had a pretty big exodus. And then linebacker, but they did bring in, I don't remember who, they brought in somebody to replace Okereke. But definitely Cardale Flott left. And I think someone else left. So yeah, I think they definitely need to prioritize, though at the top of the draft, it's pass rushers and they're looking to trade Thibodeau, if anything. So again, I think for the Giants, it's realistically just trade down fodder is my big takeaway from the Giants saying, being tied to Jeremiah Love. I think it's just trade down fodder. Let's do Juwan Jennings. I think he just makes the most sense here. Downs would be gold. You're not taking him at 4th overall, though, right? Or 5th overall. So again, I think that's all it is with the Giants is posturing to trade down. That's my opinion. And the Titans. I think both of them are trying to trade down. Though the Titans could probably use another pass rusher. So that's the direction I think that they go. I guess they could trade down because there's lots of good pass rushers in this class. So if they trade down to 7 or 9 or 8, right? Those are obviously off the table now, but when they put that out, they weren't. So that could be, I think both of them, it's posturing to trade down. I really, really do. I really do. But again, regardless, there's no way that Jeremiah Love gets past the Commanders. There's no way. And that's where I really hope he lands. For fantasy, I think that's where we should all, if you're drafting Jeremiah Love, I think you should hope that he goes to the Commanders. That's my hope with a big ass bag of Jeremiah Love. But again, I'm just betting on the talent, because even if he goes to the Titans or the Giants, he's still the best running back on that team, and it's not even remotely close. So I'll bet on the talent. Gainwell's at 118 here. Dowdle still goes where he kind of was before. Interesting. I took him a little earlier than that, though, didn't I? I think I took him here at 93, I believe. Yeah. I think that was probably a poor click by me, though. Darnold's there. He's gone. I think I just go Willis. Yeah, let's go Malik Willis here. Actually, let's go Sadiq. I think I might be okay with 2. We'll see how that goes. Well, let's go Kenyon Sadiq here. Yeah, I'm not going to force it in. If Willis or Mendoza or Cam Ward or even Bryce Young, potentially, if they fall a little bit and fall into my lap, I'll click them. If not, I'm okay with Herbert and Mayfield. 2 guys that you got to basically drag off the field. So, yeah, let's do that. Dynasty. It's not Ty Nasty, it's Dynasty. Like your name's not Tyler and you're nasty. I got you. Dynasty. I like it. I don't think Willis is rising though, right? Which he shouldn't, and he's not. Okay. That's fine. I don't think he should. I definitely don't think he should. Do we like the Dolphins more than the Cards for Willis? I can make an argument that we do. I can make an argument that he runs a little more with Miami than he would with the Cards. Hard to say. That's an interesting one. You could make an argument that Mendoza is falling into my lap right here. Though I don't particularly want to go down that road. Nice. I wanted Dobbs. I like that. Let's go with Romeo Dobbs. He could actually make some sense for Tampa Bay. I don't think he goes there, but he could make some sense in that Mike Evans role. I don't think that happens, but he could. May consider a rebrand though. I had I made well, I didn't necessarily just me, but Jerry Football, and his name was Lever Nucky, and he kept calling him Laverne. So now his name's Laverne to me, Laverne Ucky. So yeah, rebrand it, man. Is your name Tyler? If it is, then you're Ty Nasty to me. Years of playing Dynasty to Best Ball. We got another one, boys. We got another one. My rapper alter ego is Ty Nasty. Film the copyright infringement lawsuit as we speak. There you go. Get them. I can't stop pattern matching 2025 Jets, 2026 Dolphins. So many corollaries. Bad process, obviously, but can't get it out of my head. Yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, looking at the Justin Fields versus Malik Willis contracts, obviously with the way they play too, that's besides the point. But looking at the contracts, there's even some correlation there as well. But yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Obviously, Waddle, Garrett Wilson, the correlation's definitely there. I guarantee you're not the only one that's thought that exact same thing, right? There's some concern. There's some concern. You could say that Cam Ward would be the actual prudent click here, but I'm going to go with Emmett Johnson and then be done at running back. I think Emmett Johnson's like he's live to be that Seattle Seahawks running back. I think the way he plays is very similar to what I think they're looking for. I could be wrong, but what I think they're looking for is kind of a do-it-all running back. They just like to interchange their running backs at will, essentially. Both can do both, right? We got pass catching, blocking, protecting, running, whatever, with Charbonnet and Kenny Walker. And now that Kenny Walker's gone, I think someone like Emmett Johnson could make a lot of sense. That's why I thought Dowdle made a lot of sense for them too. And I guess Najee could make a lot of sense for the Seahawks as well. But I think Emmett Johnson could be that type of guy. And watching his tape, he's just a good football player. So we'll see how that goes. But I think I might be done at quarterback and running back here. If Cam Ward fell even more, which you never would, but if he fell to 63, I would have picked him there. You got to figure Penix just plummets, though I don't know if he does. We'll keep an eye on that, I suppose. I still am not sure who's clicking Ayuk and Tyreek personally, but they're still on the board. Likely goes, he would have been a guy I looked at for sure right there. Dobbs could even still make sense for Seattle. So could Jennings. Those are the kind of types of guys that make a lot of sense down there. Do I take Henry or Barner? Henry goes. So it kind of has to be Barner, I suppose. I think Barner is the correct way to go about this. If I'm done at running back and I'm done at quarterback, I think Barner makes the most sense. Didn't get to bring in McMillan. He got snapped up. I think Dynasty grabbed him, didn't you? Yeah, he did. Ty Nasty grabbed him on me. Would have been my click over Emmett Johnson, but that's all right. That's all right. So I'm throwing a little bit of volume at wide receiver, and I could at tight end as well. I could go 4, but I don't think it's necessary, kind of ever, unless it's like literally your last 4 picks at tight end. I don't think it's particularly ever necessary to go 4. When we agree it's like the most replaceable position on the draft board. Personally, I think we see a Danny Dimes, A-Rich scenario play out in Atlanta. Not a lock, but I'd bet on Tua over Penix right now. Me too. I would definitely bet on Tua over Penix, 100%, especially with the injury, right? So I have not and I will not draft Penix. I have not and I will not draft Tua either, to be honest. But that also means that Drake London kind of takes a hit for me. Like I genuinely feel like Drake London kind of has to fall with this news. And he has for me. Like Trey McBride moves ahead of Drake London now. Kenny Walker, all these running backs, obviously. Henry moves ahead of London. Bowers is ahead of London. Neighbors is a tough one, but down here, I would be inclined to click Neighbors over. Those are close. Those two are close. Chase Brown I would take over London. And then it's like Neighbors in London down here is where I think they kind of belong at the end of the second round. And then it's kind of pick your poison, take the guy you like sort of thing. Let's do Trey Harris. I think makes a lot of sense where I'm not going to be able to stack up, and it's fine. I don't really need to with Baker, but I think it makes sense to bring in. I need wide receiver right at ADP. Trey Harris makes some sense. Let's do that. Really leaning in on Keenan Allen not coming back to the Chargers. So let's do that. Also, when it was considered bad to only draft 2 quality QBs, I don't think it's a huge deterrent. I don't either. I think it's fine. I actually, anytime I can, then I do. Anytime I can stop at two quarterbacks, I do it. And it has to be guys like this, like Herbert, obviously, but then a guy like Baker, like 2 guys that just never leave the field. They're not missing games unless you literally remove one of their legs. So that feels pretty good to get those 2 types of quarterbacks. They're always going to be available for you. At least I feel like they are. If they overlap bye weeks, then say la vie, man. It is what it is. I'm not gonna draft like scared like that. I'd rather draft thinking I'm going to be able to kind of hit the nuts and win than just take another quarterback just because kind of thing. I think that's my first Tyree click, and I still feel physically dirty. Oh no, someone's got to fall on the sword, eh? Where'd you get him? 170. Think you could have waited. Think you could have waited. Herbal Baker's comfy 2 QB. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think it makes a lot of sense. You wouldn't feel great about like Daniel Jones. Well, let's look up here. Maybe even like Stafford or Love, Bo Nix, maybe. Dart. Even Dak would be, though you kind of have to take the swing on Dak when you pay that price. But those 2 types of guys, it's a little less palatable, if you will. We're definitely going with Kate Otten here. Feel totally fine pulling him up here. Completely fine pulling him up here. Pair him up with Baker. That feels pretty good. There's no wide receiver that I need. I could take Katron Allen here. That was a mouthful, but it's not necessary. Now I'm done at tight end as well. So either I can just throw all of my remaining volume, 4 picks at wide receiver, or snap off another running back. We'll see how that kind of goes. On a closing note, I'd watch for the Love to Tennessee team to pick up over the coming weeks. Just my thoughts. Yeah, it definitely could. I'm going to be glued into the landing spots and stuff like that for the mock draft episode that I do every year. It's my favorite episode, which I got to start looking into now that we're getting visits going and stuff like that. I got to start putting some things together, checking out needs. Though I always like to wait till free agency's over because then I can see team needs and take an inventory of who I think they're going to be targeting and stuff like that. So realistically, I need to start like right now, like in the next few days. By the end of maybe this weekend, I'll get started on mock draft stuff. And again, that's my favorite episode every year. So we'll see. I'll be keeping an eye on that as a massive love bag holder. I'll tell you that much for free. We'll be interested to look back at Willis versus Sadiq when draft's done, but those 2, you're in good shape. I think it's fine. Yeah, that is the conversation. That's what it would have been, but zero tight ends at the time, that plays into it as well. So like if I had just taken Herbert and not taken Mayfield there and gone, let's say Worthy, then it would have been a snap click for Willis and then Mendoza, same sort of thing I did, or Ward is in that conversation as well. I don't think I need any of these running backs. It's always Jeremy Bernard. Always Jeremy Bernard. In the 17th round, give me Jeremy Bernard every single time. This could be a draft that makes sense to take. What's my wide receiver room looking like? Not awesome. Not amazing. A little light. A little concerning. But if I can take, what I have, 3 more picks. I could take 2 more. 9 wide receivers. This could make some sense to take LaQuint Allen with Tootin. That could make some sense. I think it's possible and viable, and again, very possible that the Jags go into the season with just Tootin and LaQuint Allen. Obviously, they'll have a third, maybe a fourth, but those are the top 2 running backs on this team. That's possible. And I'm drafting both of them a lot anyways. That could make a lot of sense because, like, which wide receivers down here do I really need? Like, who do I have to have? Chimere DK, I'd take here if he's there. Holy, we've hit the 3 sneeze threshold. Cash your bets if you place the over. We haven't mentioned this is the cheapest Travis Kelce will ever be moving forward. Yeah, he's definitely a guy that I have been prioritizing a little bit, and I think everybody should be more. I should be more. So now that he's officially back, especially, he should probably rise now that he's officially back. Chimere DK goes. Then he should probably rise. We'll see how that goes. It would have been DK there for sure. Like that's a smash click in the 18th round. Najee goes. I am going to go LaQuint Allen. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's do that. And then we can finish it off with 2 wide receivers. And then I feel even better about that running back room. It's in great shape anyways, regardless, even if I take another wide receiver instead of LaQuint Allen, but I'm potentially guaranteeing myself the running back for the Jags, which is a pretty lucrative spot to be. I like this running back room. I like my quarter. This is a fun team. Wide receivers obviously a little light, even with adding 2 more. It's still a little thin, if you ask me, but we might have to just kind of take some shots on guys that we hope or think can overproduce for where we're taking them right now. Nice. I got you, man. I got you. Usually the spread's only 1.5. Usually, so they might be factoring in spring is on the way. So I have allergies, so the spread might have gone up a little bit recently due to nicer weather, though there's snow on the ground right now. So, but it's just time of year. So that's probably why it went up a little bit on you, but you probably got good money on that. You probably got like, I don't know, plus 220, plus 240, something like that on that. But I don't know. Hard to say. Good bet, though. Good bet on that one. How far do we want to scroll? I think there's 2 prudent clicks that I think make just a lot of sense for this team in this build. And they're going to be my clicks if they're both there. I don't want to say too much too soon, but the first click is going to be, if he's there, I mean, Mims is actually not a bad click, but that's not who I'm going to go with. Mims does make some sense here, but that's not the direction I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Jalen Naylor. Let's do that. Let's do that. He could, again, we talked about it earlier in the show. Like theoretically, he's paid like the wide receiver one. Well, it's more like wide receiver 3 money, if we're being honest. But let's take a Jalen Naylor because he could outproduce this draft spot. And that's kind of what we need to take gambles on, is that these 2 last wide receivers are going to outpace, rounds 19 and 20. It would suck if Dobbs went to Vegas as well. That would really suck. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. It would have been Tez Johnson was the other guy. DK, takes Tez Johnson off my hands. Who else just sniped me on? Worthy. That wasn't really a snipe, but Mason. Lawrence. Jeez, I tell you. Tez Johnson would have been, obviously, with the Baker situation. And that's kind of a way you can have outs to outpacing, is if you pair him up with your wide receiver, your quarterback, when it makes sense. And there, I think it did. If Mims is still there, I'll take Mims. I thought Shaheed was for sure going to be a Raider. Yeah, I actually didn't. Just because of Trey Tucker being there. They do a lot of similar things. Yeah, he provides a little bit more as far as the return game, but yeah, I didn't. I know I get the Clint Kubiak connection, but I just personally didn't think he was going to the Raiders. What position do you think your specialty is in best ball? What do you mean? What position? Like draft position is my specialty? What do you mean? What do you mean disbanded? What do you think your specialty is in BB? My specialty in Best Ball Mania? What do you mean? In Best Ball? Drafting? Early drafting. If I'm understanding the question properly. Let's do. I actually think Darius Slayton could be a good click right here. I think Darius Slayton makes some sense here, actually. Let's take a Darius Slayton share. My specialty would be, early drafting. That would be my specialty, if that's what you're asking. This tournament, the big board specifically. Like last year, I didn't have a single finals team. That hurt my heart a lot. But 2 years ago, I had 2 finals teams in the big board, but I should have had 4. If CeeDee Lamb came back out and got I think it was like 12 points or something like that. If he came back out in the second half of that week 16 game against, I can't remember who, Eagles or Commanders maybe, I can't remember. But if he came back out and put up 12 points in the second half, I would have had 4 finals teams in the big board 2 years ago. That would have been cool. But I think my specialty as far as the positions, well, for watching guys and scouting, I use that term pretty loosely because I'm just some dude watching videos on my computer screen. It's tight end and running back would be, that'd be my 2 kind of eye for talent sort of thing, in my opinion, would be tight end and running back. Yeah, I would agree with you. It's tight end, running back for me, for sure. Though quarterbacks, I think I'm pretty good at too. Wide receivers, I'm actually mediocre, but I get a decent amount right, to be honest. I think I'm better than most, but if I had to rank it, I would say tight end, running back, quarterback. It's pretty close. I'm pretty good at the 3, but wide receivers, I'm probably the least proficient at, I would say. What's up, Hoohames? Let's get out of here, guys. This is a long show. 2 hours is a little bit late for me. I got to get to bed. We got Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, 2693, Jonathan Taylor, Walker, Henderson, Tootin, Johnson, and LaQuint Allen. I actually really like that. I think that's really fun. It's super strong. T. Higgins, McConkey, Pearsall, Jennings, Dobbs, Harris, Bernard, Naylor, and Darius Slayton. I think we can get there. We're obviously getting our flex filled with our running backs typically. So we need 3 wide receivers to get there. even a tight end might crack our flex once in a while with Sadiq Barner and Kate Otten. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Have yourselves a great night, man. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button on your way if you don't mind. If you like the content, you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Keeps us all going. We'll be back on Wednesday night, ripping some drafts. I'm not sure what we'll be talking about. We might have some news by then, probably will. So we'll have some other free agency type stuff to talk about. But we'll be back, like I said, same time Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. Like I was saying, Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we're right. We win the big board. We'll see you a little later this week.